Hello everyone, Megabuild Games here, and yes, finally, a new speed build. Yes, this is... I don't know what I'm going to call this. I think it's going to be either something like How the Other Half... I think I'm going to call it How the Other Half Lives, because it's a semi-detached house, and they're very different in terms of their interior design as well. It's quite cool. I love the way this house actually turned out. It's pretty awesome. Oh god, I'm doing this thing again where I just sit around and do absolutely nothing. I think I was on Skype to be on Sims at this point. We're discussing like maybe doing some Sims meetups in the next kind of 6 months for the UK, which would be awesome. I would absolutely love that, and it'd be really awesome to meet some of you guys. So if you're interested in that, put it down in the comments section if you're from like the UK or whatever, and I'll pass it on to him because he's not sure that many people will actually be able to turn up. So if you guys express an interest as well, then I'm sure that he will make it more likely to happen. But yeah, this house is really cool. I really like what happened with the roof, all of it, and the colours of the outside. The colours of the exterior work really nicely actually. At first it looks a bit messy and a bit weird, but I think it just turns out really, really cool in the end, so that's pretty awesome. It's been so long since I actually built a house. I mean, I've tried on several occasions, but it's just not turned out very good at all. And I nearly didn't finish this one because at about this point I was looking at it and I was like, you know what, this just looks horrible. I can't even. And I persevered, and this, my 29th speed build, came out of it. So yeah, and I'm actually really pleased with the way this one turns out. And I'm doing this whole quiet thing again. I think this was when we were talking about accommodation, because he's been offered a place at Reading as well. So that's pretty cool. I'm also doing my usual colour scheme thing where I kind of chuck down some colours and kind of roll with them, you know. So that's cool. There's the colour scheme's kind of blues and browns, which doesn't necessarily sound like it's going to work, but it works. You'll see when I finish that it really does end up working quite nicely. And it takes me a while to get it right. I kind of have to play around with it for a few times and stuff before it actually ends up being any good whatsoever. So yeah, I guess like I say, I am proud of the way this one turns out, so that's cool. At first I start off with like a really light, almost pinkish, I don't know why, but this kind of beigey colour always ends up pinkish on that wall, on that kind of wood, but I love that wood anyway. That wood is fantastic. That's probably my favourite pattern in the whole game. It's gotta be. It's pretty damn awesome. I also like the way that one of the roofs at the very top is slightly taller than the other. I think that's a nice little touch. I think it wouldn't have looked quite so good in the end if that hadn't been the case. So yeah, that's cool. And then I look around and I'm like, well, first of all, this doesn't look very nice, and second of all, what can I do to make this look better? And I can't find anything. And then I come across this really nice blueness, and then I'm like, yeah, it's gotta be a dark brown. And then it finally comes together a lot nicer, and then this blue gets brought through the whole thingo, and then for a second I'm like, I'll use that blue on that wall, but then I'm like, no, rock, and that rock becomes absolutely vital on the inside as well. It looks freaking awesome. That's all I'm gonna say. Freaking awesome. Now these windows are store content. There is quite a lot of store content used in this house, I'm afraid. I know some of you don't like it, but sorry. That's pretty much all I've got to say. I think like I said with the last time I used store content, the reason my house turned out so good was because of the store content. Again with this, I mean, this wouldn't have worked without those windows, etc. and stuff. So, yeah. It really does help me make a good house, I guess. So that's why I use the store content, because it helps me. It's like when James used his content, like his dining set, in the one of his speed builds from, well, it was released today when I'm recording this, but I'm recording this like 3 weeks in advance, so yeah. No, it's only 2 weeks. That's cool. But yeah, he it's like he knows it would. He said it wouldn't have turned out as cool if he hadn't used it, and that's what I feel here. Also, I used Into the Future windows. I did play around with a lot of Into the Future stuff in this. I haven't built anything really since Into the Future, apart from that one live stream I did where the footage corrupted, which was a pain. It's still available on Twitch as far as I know, so if you want to check that out, go for it. But yeah, that's that. Inside, the structure and the floor plan of both houses is exactly the same, but what I do with them is slightly different. I think the only thing that stays the same in both houses is the bathrooms, because there's not really much you can do with like really standard sized bathrooms. I kind of decided that they might as well be normal. So yeah, I kind of wanted equal sized living rooms and kitchens, so I did kind of like a block in the centre. And it's quite nice because it means that you can put like a little something at the end, like for example a telephone table or a plant or something like that, and it just works out quite nicely. And then upstairs it's kind of similar. This floor has got 2 bedrooms, both of exactly the same size, and then a bathroom, which is a 3x3 little sized bathroom in the centre. Again, the bedrooms are actually split in a way by one of those blocks, because it's really annoying when you're building a floor plan to have like such uneven, you'll see it in a sec, like you couldn't split that properly, so I had to, yeah. And so these bedrooms were formed. They're quite interesting shapes, but I like that little cubby behind the bathroom. I use it differently in each run. I think I use it for a dresser in one, for a bed in another, for a desk in another. It just, they're both houses are unique to each other. They're not the same, which is nice. And then on this top floor we've got a bathroom and the master bedroom, which is a really nice sized master bedroom, and I love what happens with both of them. I think both the master bedrooms turned out amazingly. And then of course Constrained Floor Elevation decided to do a thing, and we switched again onto a different bit of footage. For some reason this one looks somewhat worse quality to me. I don't know whether it is. I don't think that it is. It just looks a little bit to me. I don't know. It'd probably be fine in thingy, but there. I've started decorating anyway. This kitchen is really nice. This is, I think, my favourite of the 2 kitchens. The second kitchen is a bit odd in the way it's kind of laid out, but it was a cool idea that I may have stolen off James, but James stole an idea off me and still thinks he came up with it, so. If you're wondering, it's the, you know how in like 2 of his houses recently he's had windows into the garage? My last speed build had windows into the garage, and that was in like August. Come on. So, yeah. I think people are finally getting in my house. It's Friday night and it's Saturday morning. It's 1:27 in the morning and everybody in my flat was out. So I guess that's them coming back. Lots of noise, lots of doors, etc. So sorry about that. Again, I paused for a sec. I really like these wall things. They're like little exclamation marks. But yeah, they're awesome. They came off the store again, sorry. And this is the living room. I like both the living rooms, but for different reasons. This one's nice because it's vibrant and it's got a desk in as well. It has a nice little study area to it, so that's cool. Also, I'm using those into the future tables. I love those tables with the plants and I think they're awesome. I think there's a lot of really cool stuff that you can implement into your builds into the future, especially those, a lot to do with plants and stuff like that works really well. Oh, and this is today's footage. Let's skip on to that quite quickly. I looked at it and I was like, I needed a rug there because that space looked really blank, so I just went with that one. I'm not sure I like the way the rug ended up, but it's not awful. So, yeah. Feel free to change it. I think what I do is I go for a less like noisy fabric on the white stuff because I think that was what made it, that green kind of like look really weird in comparison. A lot of this I now do in nighttime because, like I say, I like getting the lighting right in houses, and I normally forget if I don't ever turn it into nighttime mode to do lights at all. So, yeah. That's pretty much an explanation for that. I was kind of toying around with whether to do anything in that hallway, but I was like, you know what? No, it's too small. I just kind of went with it and stuff. The bathroom's the same in both sides of the house, so that's cool. And then this is a bedroom. This has got a double bed in. I actually quite like this room. I think this is one of my favourites of the downstairs, not the masters, basically. The 4 bedrooms that aren't master bedrooms, I think that was my favourite. And then there's this one which is suitable for 2 Sims. It's got 2 singles. I love that rug. I think that's quite cool. Wouldn't really work as a rug, mainly because the concentric circles aren't all joined and stuff like that. So, but it's awesome nonetheless. So, yeah, and then we kind of come up here. I kind of decide to do, I start off by doing one side of the house and then move on to the other, pretty much. I think that's the way it really worked out. And create a style on this took bloody forever. I swear it's getting slower and slower and slower. But anyway, I love this light that came with Island Paradise. So I kind of implemented that. And then I found this TV from the store content, and it just fitted perfectly in between those 2 windows, so I was like, yes. I wanted a TV there so badly, but I knew that it probably wouldn't fit. So I was like, I'm using that one, and you can't stop me, world. And so I needed a bit more light in the room, but I wanted to keep like a low level of light, because I kind of do in like bedrooms. I mean, I just think it works better, personally. And then this is the 2nd master bedroom, which I also love. I can't decide whether I like this one more than the other one or not. They're both very different, but I love them both. So, yeah, that would be that. And then the end, I got a little rug and a sofa, and I think I stick plants in. No, it's just a painting. That's what I do. And then this is me just copying over the bathroom layout. I think I forgot the painting on the 2nd side, but I really like what I did with this bed actually. I decided that I'd go with like a redwood kind of thing, and it works really nicely. It looks better at night time than it does in the day though, as you'll be able to tell from the pictures afterwards. They just kind of don't work out so nicely. And then I actually do this one in the daytime, and I think, upon reflection, I probably have missed out lights in that room. So when you go and download this, put some lights in there. And downstairs, now, thinking about it. Now as you can see with this living room, I actually add a chimney, which not a chimney, a fireplace. I delete the chimney. But then we've got this giant sectional sofa, which looks really nice, and adding the same thing as I did in the master bedroom, the same rug, and that I left it at that because it looks really nice. And then the kitchen here. Now this one's a little bit awkward, in the sense that it makes the space feel a lot smaller, but at the same time I kind of like the implementation of the stove in the centre. So yeah. And then we stuck a painting on the exposed rock in this room. I really do like that exposed rock. I think it works really well throughout the whole house. And now we're actually onto the outdoors, which is cool. I gave them both separate hedges because semi-detached houses are quite suburban, so I kind of wanted to implement that in a sense. The outdoors are really, really simple. I didn't really know what to do with them, so I just went with loungers and fire pits because that's cool. And then I do the front, and then I add a few trees, and that is pretty much it. I wanted to keep it simple with the gardening because outside of those hedges isn't necessarily going to be their property. It's just kind of there. Oh, wrong picture. I need to change that. This is the house. I just did a picture for the Let's Play and ended up putting it in here, but I'll change it. But yeah, these are the shots. I kind of do it side by side with each of the rooms, like kitchen next to kitchen and then living room next to living room, just so you get like a comparison point. Although I do the two like non-master bedrooms of the same house together, just because it's a little bit easier. But yes, thank you for watching this. The link should be in the description. I'll make sure that I put it in the description. Would be very useful. But yeah, thank you ever so much for watching. I hope this isn't awful since it's my first speed build back, and I will see you next time.